Alright, welcome back. This is Tech again, and we're going to continue on with our tutorial series here of, early game tips and concepts. Just a few items right off the beginning. This should be episode 3 and maybe 4, depending how far it goes, and then that'll probably be the end of the series until I start a Let's Play, which will be then a little more comprehensive, kind of just going from beginning to end. But we'll go over a few more things. We'll kind of clean up and do the last few things I wanted to go over on this one. Talk about a couple corrections to make from the first videos, and then probably the fourth video in this series we'll then go over the military warfare part, so we'll kind of save that for last. However, a couple things on this one. First, a few cleanup items from the previous video. In the last video, you saw we had replaced a couple of our counselors because we had some pretty significant upgrades on them. One thing to make a note of is when you do replace your counselors, that then cancels the job out that the previous one was doing. So you do have to put them back to work. And if you remember right in the last video, the Chancellor and the Marshal were both replaced. So you can see both of them need to be put back into, back to work at this point. So the Marshal, what we're going to do with him right now is we want to try to build some of our forces up. If we look around here, we can kind of see we want to do training with him, actually, is the point, to continue that thought. We want to have more of our forces available in these province areas. It looks like the biggest problem one is this one here. This one's saying that we have 644, but only 215 are raisable by us. That's 590, 102. Both of them aren't that great. And those are the two actual county provinces or whatever that are not held by me. My provinces are a little bit better. So let's go ahead and put him to work on training troops. Well, I guess I can only do it in those in mine anyway, so which one is the least? I guess it was that one. Yeah, definitely. Actually, that one needed a lot more. Okay, and then the other person we had to put back to work was the Chancellor, and we did have him fabricating claims on Navarre, so we'll go ahead and try that again. Now here you can go ahead and do that. There we go. Alright, so that's reset. Okay, a couple other small corrections to make. One thing in particular, just as a general kind of rule of thought and tip, is on any of these jobs with your counselors that you're setting up, generally when you select it and then you look at your map, it's going to usually highlight the provinces that you're able to do this in. So if it's something that you can only do in your own provinces, those are going to be the only ones that light up, like you just saw a second ago. So for instance, like someone had mentioned on one of the videos, the steward ability to oversee construction, to speed construction up, that's only usable, and maybe I didn't say it clear on my last video, that's only usable on the provinces that you personally hold control of. And by that I mean when you click on them, you see your leader with the gold star, you see him as the portrait when you click on those areas. So I can only speed up construction on these areas that I hold. I can't speed them up on these two over here, for instance, because I have vassals that are taking care of those. Basically the way to think about it is you're the king and you have control over certain areas, and those are the only areas that you really have control over all the little things that are going on. When you have vassals that are in control of their own areas, they take care of it. So let's one other thing we're going to look at real quick is the construction stuff. And I know I only touched on this briefly, but if you look at these areas, these are the two areas that I control personally, and these two I don't. So if Vizcaya over here, if we look down here, it has two things, the city and the church, basically, I believe it is. If we click on one of these, and excuse my voice being a little bit rougher than the last two videos, I'm recording this in the morning, and usually in the morning I haven't had my coffee yet, so on this building here in this province, you'll notice I have no upgrade options. Again, that's because I'm not in control of this area. If I click on one of the areas that are mine, like Burgos, and I click down here on the city, you'll notice you have all these upgrade options that you can actually spend money to upgrade that particular settlement. And a lot of these are pretty useful. So for instance, like, let's see here. Right here, the militia mustering grounds, if I pay 100 gold, and it takes a year to build, if I click this and build it, I'm going to get 60 plus 60 light infantry and plus 30 archers added to my troops in that province. So that's some pretty good stuff to invest in. Now, right now, you know, money-wise, meh. I don't really want to stretch for 100 gold on anything right this minute. But if you're really trying to build up your troops in an area or other things, it actually even a town market. If I build a town market, I actually increase my monthly tax income by 2.5, which is pretty good. So again, with the upgrades, you can only do those on the province areas, the counties that are under your personal control. So that kind of cleans that item up as well. Let's look at the intrigue, make sure there wasn't any plots that popped up. There isn't. Let's go ahead and get the time going on that. A few other things we're going to talk about. One, somebody also mentioned on my previous videos, the overlays, which this is something that I'm sure I'm not going to spend much time on this because I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. But over here by the mini-map, you have several overlay buttons that you can use that help you to get some information and get around a little quicker. Okay. This is something that you'll see quite often, and I'll explain this real quick before we move on. This says that the Pope is upset with our law of free investiture. The Holy Father is asking us to change to comply with church doctrine. So, let's see. If I say okay, I get 25 piety and gain 2% moral authority. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a problem with that, and I'll explain this here in just a second. Basically, what that is, what I just went ahead and did is, and I'll show you, right here, the bishops, what I just changed was, you kind of have two ways, and there's probably more, but I'm only familiar with two. Let me pause this. Is if you're in free investiture like I was before, you can select who your bishops are in your area, who are in control of your church areas and things like that. When you switch it, the doctrine, according to the Pope, it makes it where they appoint them. So you don't get to select these people. And one thing you want to try to, in general, do is you want to have the bishops in your area. If you look here, there's two stat things. One is their opinion of you, and the other is their opinion of the Pope. And if at all possible, you want their opinion of you to be higher. And this has to do with the church tax and all that you're going to be getting from those areas. So for instance, this one here, Bishop Arius, who I believe that is my court chaplain, yep, he likes me more than the Pope, which is good. That's how we want it. However, this guy here, Bishop Tello, he likes the Pope better. So that's not good. But over time, that'll change some. But that does have to do with some of the taxes that you're going to be getting, because if you actually go and look, I believe it's at the ledger, it'll show you. Well, that's showing some of the tax that you're getting in from the well, we'll come back to that in a minute. I want to look through some of that stuff a little clearer before I explain it improperly. Let me go ahead and start this up. But in general, the general rule of thumb is that's fine if they want to appoint it, but you need to keep an eye on it, because you do want your bishops to like you more than the Pope. So that's just something you kind of want to keep an eye on. And there's ways to do that by giving them gifts and various things like that. And also, whoever you have as your chaplain, to be sending him out on his holy missions in your areas to gain support, and that usually in turn helps you out as well. And we had a notification there that I just missed a second ago. I think it was one of these guys calling me to arms. So, Alright, one other small thing we're going to go over here real quick is under Intrigue, you'll notice that you have some of these decision items down here. And there's different things you can do. You can, if you're not liking the look of all your counselors, you can invite a holy man or a noble to court, and sometimes you'll get a good person that'll come to court. Usually you got to pay a little bit of money to get them to come. Or in the case of the holy man, the piety. But one thing we're going to do here, and I'm going to scroll down here, let me stop that for just a second. There's some various things down here. One, you can see highlighted the ones that you're able to do right then. We're going to hold a summer fair, which that brings some events along with it and some opportunities. But right here, if you see, I meet all the requirements, and I have to pay basically about 5.5 gold, and we will hold a summer fair until 9th of September. And along with the events that will happen, I'm going to be gaining 0.05 prestige while it's going on. So, you know, that's not too bad. You get a little bit of extra prestige along the way, which our prestige is already in the positive, so it just makes it better. So we're going to go ahead and do that and hold a fair. I have given the order. This should make the peasants happy. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, as we start the game back up, you'll see some events start up in relation to that as we go along here. And it looks like these guys are having a throwdown over here. Oh, Navarre is getting attacked. Yeah. Oh, they're going through, traveling. You can actually click on the provinces to see when someone's at war. Because, like, it'll show, for instance, when I click here, you can see he's at war against France and Aragon, it looks. Or no, yeah, Aragon. So, that's how you can actually tell real quickly who's at war. Let's see here. It's never been a shortage of soldiers. Okay, it looks like our Marshal with a 27 rating is paying off a bit. Increases our reinforcement rate already, which is good. Oh, our reinforcement rate's gone up quite a bit here. If you remember before, it was only at like 200 something, I believe. Now it's up to 663, which is pretty good. Let's see. Okay, here was one of our first summer events, I believe. It looks like there's a couple of them going on here. Let's see. Even if the church frowns upon jugglers and calls them gleemen, I enjoy their humorous and bawdy acts during the summer fair. Okay, so here I can gain 10 prestige but lose 10 piety. There is just some piety and church opinion losses. One of the bishops Arius gets mad at me. And this one I get a plus with the church. Now, the thing you got to be aware of on some of these events like this is when you look this over, you say, well, you got a negative there. Oh, but this one's all, this one's only got a positive. Well, this one, a lot of these sometimes chain into multiple items, so depending on which one you pick, you may get another window that pops up with different options. So it's not always, yeah, this may look like the best one on this window, but because you picked this one, you get another window where some other stuff happens and you had nothing but bad choices on that window. So you gotta kind of look at it a little bit. Let's see, prestige and piety. Arius likes me pretty well, 85. I think I'm going to take this one and just change 10 piety to 10 prestige. It's not that big of a deal. And then this one, the Summer Fair's archery contest went very well. The cloud and the space around it was filled with arrows. Some of them had hit the bullseye, some of them had missed. Caught all together, the winner was a modest man who disappeared rather quickly after he collected his prize. That is suspicious. And I get the paranoid trait, which I don't really want. This one says, so he was a good archer, a good poacher as well, I think. I get cynical, which gives me +1 intrigue, +1 diplomacy, but -5 general opinion. That's across everybody, so that's not very good. Marshal, find it and the rest that man. I gain 10 prestige, but I get peasants are upset, which increases revolt risk by 3%. Good archer, that man. So I get a Count Inco that likes me by 15, but I lose 3 gold. Yeah, let's go with that. Alright. So that was a couple events being played out there. This is that thing about the Ducal. You can, if you're tired of seeing notification up here ever, you can always right click on it and do this X here to disable it. That way I don't have to sit there and look at it anymore. Alright, some more summer fair fun. This is it ending. The peddlers are loading their wares, the merchants are taking down the stalls, the jugglers, strolling players, and other entertainers are preparing to leave. The summer fair is over for this year. And I get a +10 prestige. It was great while it lasted. So as you can see from that summer fair, we built up a little bit of prestige there. I mean, we built up what, at least like 20, I think, and then we got some a little bit of opinion bonus from somebody. Alright, one other little thing I just want to go into on this video, and like I said, we've covered most all the basic informations, but one more thing is the characters list here. Now, this characters list is very useful. You can use it to do all kinds of searches across your realm, across other realms. If you want to try to look for a certain person, there's a lot of ways this can be used. However, one real quick and easy way to use it is to actually look at the opinion in your realm. So I have this set to search realm. and how you can use this is you can see real quickly what the opinion is of you by the people in your realm, so you can potentially spot out trouble areas. So you can come in here and just on the default settings with everything on both and any, and search your realm. So this is everybody in your realm. You can sort it over here by opinion. And you can see we're doing pretty good. We got, you know, a lot of people in the green. Hit it again. Okay, here we can see a fair amount of people in red. Now any of them that are single digit, oh hey, look, there's good news. Fate smiles upon me. My wife is pregnant. Hopefully that's our son heir that's coming. But any of them that are single digit generally isn't so bad, especially with when there's this many. You don't really need to worry about the single digit ones. But what you can do is you can look for trouble spots of anybody who's really high double digits. So like probably one of the worst ones here is this chick right here. Some lady who in Vizcaya, and if you hover over the number you can see why she doesn't like me. First part is short reign, which, you know, hey, that's no big deal, that'll go away over time. Foreigner and patient versus Roth. So, you know, that's not so bad. I mean, you know, there's not a whole lot you can really do about it. And like I said, you can just kind of look them over. The biggest thing is you want to look over, make sure that none of these ones in the high negatives, none of them are your relatives, like your children or siblings, or any of them are your counselors or any counts, any like counts or dukes or anything like that. I mean, in this case, the worst ones are some women that are in certain areas, you know, so it's really not that big of a deal. You know, like over here, like the first one I see of any relevance here is this mayor here, it looks like, which it's a mayor that's 11 years old. Yeah. Okay, whatever. But again, the character thing, this is a good way for you to go in and maybe spot out potential trouble areas. Let's pause this for a second. We have a notification here. Have a call to arms. Okay, yep, it looks like what's going on here is Navarra, who we're going to have a problem with, is attacking our other cousin here. I believe that's what this is. Or no, wait a second. Against King Anso of Navarra. Make sure we're looking at this correctly. Yep. Yeah. So we have our one cousin here. It looks like he is at war with the Navarra guy who we were considering taking over. So this would actually probably be a good opportunity for us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this right here and use this for the next video for the war situation. But I'm going to go ahead and accept this and help him and then press the issue back on this guy's territory. So we're going to go ahead and accept this, and we will carry this over to our next video for the military. But this looks like a good opportunity because these two cousins are fighting. We can jump in and help and then actually attack the other guy's area and see how that goes. However, in that situation, well, I'll explain that in the next video. But however, we touched on a few things and cleaned up a few items with this one. So I'll be uploading this video as soon as possible, and expect the fourth video with the military aspects to be there soon. And again, thanks for watching. Leave your comments, and see you soon.